All right. And we're here on a special edition of Couch Coach Live. We're kicking off our 10th annual NFL preview. So we'll be talking about the NFC West. That's the San Francisco 49ers, LA Rams, Arizona Cardinals, and the Seattle Seahawks. So I got a special guest in the building. I got what's going on, Box.
That would be the defending NFC West champion San Francisco 49ers, by the way.
Absolutely, I know you got, it is what it is, and hey, it's a good shot that this team might potentially repeat once again in the NFC West. So we got a great show lined up for you tonight. So we'll talk about the NFC West. We'll talk about some storylines to watch in this division, players to watch in this division, some breakout players potentially, a hot take or two, and also do our record predictions. So what we're going to take a brief time out. We're going to kick that intro real quick, and we will be right back here to start our 10th annual Couch Coach Live NFL preview.
Bringing that fire, ain't you?
Hey, shout out to I got JP on the intro. Yeah, man, definitely had that Kirk Cousins touch, So shout out to I got JP on the intro. So before we get started, this Couch Coach Live 10th annual NFL preview is brought to you it's powered by the good folks at SeatGeek. So head over to SeatGeek for all your ticket needs. Go to SeatGeek.com. Use our promo code CouchCoach and get yourself $20 off your first purchase. So, Box, we definitely got to talk about the NFC West. So, we first got to talk about the storylines to watch in this division. So, what are your storylines to watch in the NFC West?
Yeah, to me, there's a couple of them, right? So obviously, starting with my team, the 49ers, the big question mark is going to be the quarterback situation. Brock Purdy is back already from injury. He's taking the first team reps, but they are limiting his throws. So it's going to be curious to see over time here, like how's he doing? Is he ready to reclaim that number one spot? Behind him, you got Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. And Trey Lance has looked pretty good a couple of days, but he's had some questionable days as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, because at this point, let's be honest, Brandon Allen, who is a rookie that they're actually feeling pretty good about, is a guy who might be fighting for a roster spot. Now, after the way last season ended, this team may very well decide to keep 4 quarterbacks. But I think we're going to be having to ask that question here real soon of, is Trey Lance going to be on this roster at the beginning of the season? Because if he ends up falling behind Sam Darnold during camp, they may just end up trading him. So that's going to be a big storyline to watch to me. Another one that's going to be really huge is seeing, can Seattle repeat or improve upon what they did last year? Can Geno come out and have a year like he had again last year? Because that was not something that any of us saw coming. So that would be interesting to see. And then the Rams. You had a team that won the Super Bowl, comes back the next year, only wins, they win 5 games, I think it was last year. It was horrible. But they also had a lot of injuries. And so it will be interesting to see, can they bounce back this year? Because although they're getting guys back healthy, they have lost a lot of talent. They went all in for that Super Bowl, and their roster has been gutted since. The most recent, obviously, being Jalen Ramsey leaving out. So a couple really big storylines there. Unfortunately, if you're a Cardinals fan, you don't have much to look forward to this year, other than getting a high draft pick. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and I almost pretty much echo your sentiments as far as when it comes to the storylines. I talked about like the quarterback carousel that is with the San Francisco 49ers with Purdy and Lance, and then also like Sam Donald's now, like saying that mix as well. So, who knows? The Southern California kid, could be in the mix for there, and also too like with Seattle, obviously. It's funny that we looked at Seattle kind of how we looked at Arizona last year. We thought they would be one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
And, and they overachieve. And now will that be sustained, with that as well. And then also like too, with the Rams, where can they recover from the Super Bowl hangover? Can they, and they're probably, and it's funny because we always talk about the Super Bowl hangover, but this one is the hangover and they fell off the cliff.
Yeah.
Like usually there's somewhat of a drop, but last year was like it was a damn near disaster for them. And then for Arizona, life without Kyler. Essentially, what's that's going to be? Yeah, I think that's gonna be really the biggest storyline with them. And then obviously with the new head coach and Gannon, our boy ODC. So we shall see what's going to happen in Arizona, but. Like you said, it's gonna be some tough times in Arizona this year for them. So
Yeah, and I think when you look at Arizona, and obviously we'll talk a little bit more about them here in a few, but they're a team that really was not that aggressive in free agency this year. They also lost some guys. D Hop's no longer there. JJ Watt retired, and he actually still played pretty well for them last year. So they lost pieces and they didn't really replace them per se. So to me, they're a team that's they're in rebuild right now, and so we'll see what happens. But at least they're aware of it, right? They're not trying to pretend that they're competing. They're like, look, our quarterback might not even end up playing this year because by the time he's healthy enough to play, it might not make sense to play him.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, look, we're just gonna go ahead, take the season. And see some of the young guys we got, see what we can get out of them, and get another high draft pick next year. That seems to be their game plan. And I don't really fault them for it.
Yeah, I agree with that as well too. I definitely think, like you said, because Kyler got an injury right before Christmas, and we usually know those injuries take almost about a year, and that's generous.
Mm-hmm.
As far as recover from that. So, absolutely. So, Box. We got to talk about some players to look for in the NFC West. Any players that we need to watch out for in this division, from your perspective?
Now, are we talking like just players to watch, or are we talking about breakout guys?
Well, we'll talk about players to watch. The breakout's gonna be the next one. So okay. So just, some could be household names, or some could just be some personal ones. It's just pretty much just some breakout players not breakout players, but some players to watch.
Yeah. So for me, I think on my team, a guy that I'm really excited to watch this year, see if he can take that next step, is Brandon Ayuk. And everybody who knows me knows I have been telling anybody that will listen that Brandon Ayuk is actually the best wide receiver on my team for like 2 years now. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he's going to actually take that next step. Also, we mentioned the quarterback situation. I want to see, and this is going to be more like a training camp kind of thing, but I want to see what Trey Lance is going to do. Right now, you are in this position where you're not guaranteed to be able to win this job. You got all these expectations for where you were drafted, what was given up for you, all this stuff. I want to see you come out and respond. So that's going to be an interesting one for me. When I look over at Seattle, this is the team that I want to see how this secondary starts to come together. They just drafted Witherspoon, and they're trying to clearly put together the Legion of Boom Part 2, right? So I want to see like how some of this young secondary does. I want to see some of those guys take another step. And also I want to see, does that offensive line continue to get better? Because I think this is something people didn't talk about enough last year. Everybody talked about Geno and how great he did, and reasonably so. But I think a big part of what actually gave Seattle so much success last year was their offensive line played so much better than they have previously, which gave Geno time. and then finding Kenneth Walker who could actually run the football behind that offensive line. That was really big for them. So I want to see, can that offensive line continue to get even better? Because you saw what happened when they weren't able to play well against us. We pretty easily handled them. So they got to get better, but they were so much better last year than they were before. I mean, granted, ask Russell Wilson what the expectations were, right? So that's going to be an interesting one. And then when it comes to the Rams, I want to see, what does Matthew Stafford have left? Is Matthew Stafford going to be able to bounce back? Is that elbow actually healthy? Because that obviously hurt them last year. They tried to downplay it, and it hurt them significantly. So I want to see, is he back healthy? Is he ready to go? I mean, we talked about Brad Purdy's elbow, but what about Matthew Stafford's?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a lot of intrigue in this division. So I think I'm gonna go with your 49ers. The person I really I'm looking forward to watch is Christian McCaffrey. I think this is going to be like his first full year in this offense. So I'm definitely curious of how they're going to use him. As far as that's concerned, as far as what other things that they're going to add to his weaponry. Yeah, I'm curious about that. Bobby Wagner, I think him coming back to Seattle, I think that's going to be a great for their defense. Where I think he'll definitely. It's almost like it's going to be like a hand to glove, where it's going to be a perfect transition. I think it's going to be, it's going to be kind of it's not going to be so much of a drop off. Like I think he'll be able to plug and play and just be ready. For Arizona, it's probably going to be Buda Baker. I think the way I envision Arizona, they're going to have. You look at their offense, and I'll talk about a little bit like with Colt McCoy is their quarterback, James Conner is their running back, and they got a good young core, a good young group of wide receivers. So they're going to be in situations where I think defense is going to have to really play a pivotal role for them. And I think if they can get like a Buda Baker making plays and actually taking some pick sixes, that could definitely I think he can help maybe win a couple games for Arizona just off his sheer playmaking ability, and then how Colt McCoy can essentially manage this team. So I think he's going to be somebody that you definitely want to watch on that one. And with the Rams, it's really to me, Aaron Donald. I just want to see just once again how he'll play. And that's another one where he's just a difference maker. I mean, we've had our Aaron Donald stories as opponents, and it's all really the same. It's just a dominating fashion. Who knows? You could throw the kitchen sink at him, he'll bulldoze through that kitchen sink and get to your quarterback. So just curious, and especially and how this season will be for the LA Rams as well. But
I think Aaron Donald is very, very excited that Daniel Brunskill is no longer in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it was. Because I mean, it's not like Daniel Brunskill was like some elite player by any means, but for whatever reason, that dude knew how to block Aaron Donald.
Right. Like, and yeah, oh man, but yeah, Aaron Donald, man, he is a terror. I'm definitely not as a Commanders fan. I'm definitely not looking forward to seeing him December the 17th.
Yeah, he's a handful. That's there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Oh God. And I'm just totally off subject with dude. Remember when Alex Smith came back and I seen Aaron Donald had a clean runway? I look, do not hurt him, please. Just go easy on him.
Just take it easy, man. Don't kill the guy.
No, I know. I was like, that would have been the day I would have quit. That was the day I would have retired from the NFL. And that's the magic coming off that entry like that, and the first person that hits you is Aaron Donald. Jeez. Retirement.
I'll share a quick funny story I saw from our camp the other day. So apparently, first day of having pads on and everything, one of our defensive players, I can't remember who it was, but he rushed and he had a clean lane, and Brock Purdy went to throw the ball and he batted the ball, and I think he got all ball, but it looked, at least from like the angle, it looked almost exactly like the play from the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
And like Kyle Shanahan just like absolutely lost his mind.
Yikes.
So you talk about people being scared of situations. That's that poor guy is like, he gets anywhere near the quarterback for the rest of camp, he's gonna be like,
yeah. And shout out to my guy Kyle Shanahan, the boy wonder, the genius,
yes,
the smartest man in the room. So shout out to him. So, Box, let's talk about some breakout players in the NFC West. Any guys as far as that you think are gonna have a breakout year?
yeah. So I'll kind of go on the opposite here. Arizona, I think a guy that would be interesting to watch is Trey McBride, tight end. Replaced Zach Ertz last year. Actually played really well at the end of the year, despite the fact he had a whole bunch of different people throwing on the football. And on an offense that's not going to have a lot of weapons, that's probably not going to be putting up huge numbers. I think he's going to be a guy who could really have a breakout season. He's going to get a lot of opportunities, a lot of targets. He's going to be a nice little security blanket for whoever's playing quarterback, because we don't really know what that situation is going to look like throughout the course of the year. But I think, that's a guy that for them really has a chance to do some crazy things this year. For the Rams, I'm looking at Kobe Durant. He's a guy who probably wouldn't have necessarily got a chance to play much this year, but with Jalen Ramsey leaving, I think he's really in line to take that starting job that Ramsey left vacant. So it's going to be interesting to see with him. He's going to have to grow up really fast, but you do have that aforementioned Aaron Donald guy up front creating some pressure for you. So don't get it twisted. Now, although the Rams have some question marks, they can still go after the quarterback. That's something that defense is going to still be able to do. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. If I'm looking at Seattle, I mentioned earlier how the offensive line played better, but a guy they drafted last year, Charles Cross, he wasn't terrible all the time. He played fairly well sometimes, but he also gave up 7 sacks last year. That's a guy that I expect to kind of take that next level, have that year of seasoning on him. Is going to play, I think, a lot better. So he's going to be to me, a breakout player for as much as you can consider a offensive lineman to be a breakout player, right? When I look over at the 49ers, there's a couple guys I could mention, but I'm going to say that the one that I'm most excited about is Drake Jackson. He's a guy who showed some flashes last year. He hit that rookie wall, which is not uncommon. Just, you get halfway through the season and you're like, my body's not used to dealing with this. So he kind of fell off a little bit at the end of the year, but you really got rid of Arden Key. You lost Samson Ebicom. So the pressure is now on Drake Jackson to come in and be the guy on the other side of Nick Bosa. And it's kind of a luxury when you got Javon Hargrave and Eric Armstead lined up next to you, and you got Nick Bosa on the other side. So he's going to be a guy that should see a lot of one-on-one matchups, and I think he has the motor to get through them. He's put on a lot of weight this offseason, really kind of bulked up, gotten a lot stronger and faster. So I think he's going to be a guy who's going to have an absolute monster season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a few that I have. So I think for Arizona, I got Greg Dortch, Highland Springs High School, great. You think about it, last season, and he's going to break out to me. I think obviously with them losing DeAndre Hopkins, D-Hop, because last year he had 64 targets, 467 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Great numbers, considering the fact that he played in less than 10% of the offensive snaps this season.
Yeah.
And I think, him potentially being in that slot when you got, Rondale Moore on one end and then you also got Hollywood Brown on the other. That's going to be a nice lethal combination for my guy, Colt McCoy, to work with, So yeah. I definitely think, Greg Dortch is going to be somebody that, that you will see more of and he'll produce.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think that's a good one.
And then staying in my local bias, in my local bag, in my Richmond, Virginia bag, Clelin Ferrell. I like that. I love that pickup for you, Box. Like, seriously. Yeah. Like, I think now, considering the fact, because and I hate to say it like this, and I know we don't want to give excuses or want to kind of give guys passes, but the Oakland / Las Vegas situation is just a mess, And I definitely think him, going to San Francisco, Steve Wilkes as the defensive coordinator, and I think he'll get him situated, get him set. So I definitely think, because the thing about it, with him being such a high pick, people, always going to, attribute certain things as far as like he's an underachiever, he's a bust. But, I mean, he just got drafted 4 years ago. We got to give him an opportunity. Yeah. I think San Francisco is a great place for that, especially with that depth on that line. Like, he's going to get an opportunity to chomp at the bit. So I definitely love the acquisition. I think he's going to have big dividends for the San Francisco 49ers team.
Yeah, and then I think, you mentioned the Raiders. I mean, don't forget, Arden Key came from the Raiders.
Yeah.
Came to the 49ers, had a good enough season that I think it was Jacksonville that actually ended up signing him. So,
yeah. Shout out to our guy T.I. Cameron Thomas, I think, for the Cards, breakout player, even though I didn't think they're a good team. Yeah, I think on paper, like we talked about it earlier, this Arizona team it's gonna be a rough 2023 for this Cardinals team.
Yeah.
But they do have some players on this team, and like you said, even to T.I.'s point, Cameron Thomas. Also, I'm talking about the tight end, especially with what he's doing, and they got some pieces. They just got to string it together.
Yeah, I think and shout out to T.I. But it's interesting when you look at a team like Arizona. I think they're a team you could honestly pick a lot of breakout players for, because there really isn't that guy that you're looking at going, oh, he's going to definitely be the guy, right? There's going to be a lot of opportunities for guys to step in and be the guy. Because, hey, guess what? They are still an NFL team. They might be one of the worst NFL teams this year, but they're still an NFL team, which means you got guys that know how to get open. They know how to catch the ball. They know how to run. They know how to throw. They know how to do all those things. So somebody's got to get those numbers. Somebody got catching the ball. Somebody got to make them runs. Somebody has to do that stuff. The question is going to be, who is it going to be?
Yeah. And that's going to be definitely going to be the difference in this Arizona team. So, no, with this division, when you look at the grand scheme of things, I think we all kind of look at the division almost in a similar lens. But what is your bold take / hot take for the NFC West? What you got, Box?
So it's hard to come up with that much of a hot take in this division, right?
Right.
But if I had to make a semi-hot take, semi-bold take here, I think that the Rams missed the playoffs again. That's really about as bold as I can get, because I really feel like it comes down to the 49ers and the Seahawks in terms of winning this division. And I just don't think the Rams are going to be good enough to get that 7th seed. So I think they're going to miss the playoffs again.
Agree with you on that one, Box. Okay. So for this is my hot take, even though it's not 400 degrees hot. It's maybe 275, 300, 350.
So we're not going juvenile on this one?
Yes, it's because like you said, this division is essentially top heavy. We know there's a pecking order. The cream rice at the top and it's in Santa Clara, California, with the 49ers.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's almost to your point, Box, where we will not see Kyler Murray play this year. And like you said, maybe because they're out of contention. But I think the reason why you won't see them because of the play of Colt McCoy.
So you're saying that Colt McCoy is going to play so well that they're going to be like, there's not even a point in bringing Kyler Murray back.
I think so. Arizona is where older quarterbacks thrive. Carson Palmer, Kurt Warner, and I think Colt McCoy is going to be once again revitalized. I don't know, for some odd reason, I believe in kind of what they have offensively, and it's it's funny how it kind of teased the whole thing with the Greg Dortch, Rondale Moore, and Hollywood Brown trio as far as wide receiver tandem. I think if Colt McCoy doesn't turn the ball over, he hits like I said, like I think with Greg Dortch, and they create magic. You got James Conner. That's saying that they're gonna be a formidable team, but I think he will be at least the ultimate game manager. And I think he will make some plays, and then even kind of to what I was talking about, Buda Baker, if he can make plays on the defense, it kind of help this all together. Not saying that it's gonna be a long win. It's gonna be a long year for Arizona, but I don't think it's gonna be as bad as like people saying 3-14, 2-15. They might get double-digit losses, but I think they're gonna be I think they will be playing somewhat meaningful football. Maybe at least before Thanksgiving. Okay. I think they'll be playing some games in November that can mean something in the difference. So,
I mean that is definitely a bold take, sir. I think it's dead wrong, but it is a bold take.
I'm telling you, man. I got faith in Colt McCoy. Like I got faith in Colt McCoy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with T.I. on this one, man. I mean, you said it wasn't 400 degrees, man, but I'm hearing, the block is hot over here in the background right now because
yeah, I mean, hey,
juvenile.
But yeah, man, I think he'll just be what I call serviceable. And like even when you said, I think, and there's no need to rush Kyler Murray back. Like you said, even if if he even get to a point where he's even cleared to play, I don't think it's worth it. And potentially him re-injuring it and just come back in 2024 healthy. Maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. might fall into your lap in April.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, or maybe the greatest quarterback in the history of the University of North Carolina, Drake May, might fall into your lap. I'm just saying.
I will add this to my prediction about the Rams. Not only do I think they're going to miss the playoffs, but I think Sean McVay is going to do what he actually wanted to desperately do this year and leave.
And that boy won a number 2.
That's what I'm going with.
Wow, Sean McVay. Not Sean McVay. Whoa.
Yeah, McVay.
Yeah, yeah. So McVay's out. Okay, Sean McVay's out. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to he's gonna call it quits. He wanted to leave this year.
Yeah.
He wanted after that horrible season last year. He wanted to leave, and he got so much backlash for trying to run out on the team after they absolutely destroyed it. That he felt like he had to come back. But if they fell again this year, I think he's out. He's gone.
For sure. yeah, Mal. I got faith in Colt McCoy for sure. And T.I., this is Colt McCoy saying it ain't so. Carr's getting Caleb Williams. I think somebody might be worse than them. So, But hey, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Drake May.
I mean, I'm not gonna wish anything positive on them. So,
yeah, you're right.
It's a fellow division rival, so I wouldn't ask you to wish good things on the Giants, the Eagles, or the that team over there in Arlington, you know.
Yeah, exactly. The Arlington football team. Yeah, we'd be a little petty, but now that's gonna be crazy in 3 weeks for the NFC East.
I'm about to tune in for that one. I'm not even a fan of the new teams, but y'all boys be wilding.
We do. Yeah, it gets a little. It's funny. It's like friendly fire. It's like y'all can make fun. We can make fun of each other, but then anybody else make fun of us outside the NFC East, we're gonna fight. We're gonna scrap. So.
But I mean, like, look, I'll say this. Like, I have a lot of respect for the NFC East from the standpoint of I can walk outside and find an NFC East fan, right? Like, I can find fans of like pretty much any team from the NFC East. It is so hard to find Seattle Rams or Cardinals fans.
Right.
It's hard to find them. Like 49ers fans, we're everywhere.
Yeah.
Seattle fans, they all moved to Seattle. They apparently love the area. They all live like in Seattle. So rabid fan base as long as you're in Seattle. You leave Seattle, they're tough to find.
Yeah, it is weird because even when Russell Wilson played for the Seahawks, and he's from my hometown of Richmond, Virginia, you really see a lot of 3 jerseys in Richmond. And it's kind of odd, like you're saying. Like I probably own a handful of people that I know that actually like the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But like everywhere else, I have a Rolodex of people that like the 49ers. I know about 20 people I can just name off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But like if gun to my head, Seattle Seahawks, I'm done. Because I wouldn't even know.
I don't know that I've ever even met a Cardinals fan.
I don't think so either.
I really don't. I don't think I've ever actually met one.
I don't know nobody who cover it.
If I met one, it'd be like that Eminem's commercial with Santa. I'd be like, they do exist.
That's right. They do exist. Oh.
That one Cardinals fan is no longer watching your show. He's out.
Right. Oh, speaking of that, you know how? So this is another little side story. So we got time. So remember when Philly and the Eagles played? When Philly and the Cardinals played in the NFC Championship and Arizona won. So me and my homeboy, shout out to JB, we was petty. So we bought Arizona Cardinal jerseys, and we got them like on sale because I think this is like right after they switched jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
He had an Emmitt Smith jersey. I think I either had Larry Fitzgerald or I think I had Larry Fitzgerald jersey. We wore it at like a Buffalo Wild Wings, dude. They cussed us out. They gave us hell. He was like, y'all ain't nothing but some fake ass fans. Y'all went to Kohl's and got that on sale. You know what? You're right. We did. So
I said, you deny this.
And my boy JB, he's a Cowboys fan. So it's funny, like how we came together because we was rooting against Philly. We was like, yo, we ended up buying Arizona Cardinal jerseys. That's wild, right?
That definitely is something right there. I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, when one of your arch rivals is playing, you must do what you must do.
Yes, and that was by far one of the greatest experiences ever. First, to see Philly lose, and then for us to get cursed out. Greatest feeling ever,
There's something about being behind enemy lines, right? Like, one of my greatest memories of all time is when my wife was at school at the University of Florida. She's a Gator fan. I'm a Seminole.
Oh.
And so when she was at school there, she got, they give out the student tickets or whatever. And so she got an extra ticket. We went to the Florida State game. I'm dressed out full decked Florida State gear, head to toe, in the middle of the UF student section. And there was like 2 other Florida State fans there. They realized I was the only one not getting messed with. So they both came over next to me. So it's like the 3 of us like just huddled up in the middle of the US student section. And that was the game. You might not remember it, but Florida State fans will remember the PK Sam game where he caught the Hail Mary at the end of the game to win. And just sitting in the middle of that section and just hearing the entire crowd just go silent at the same time is like literally that's up there like greatest moments of my life.
Yeah, yeah, man. I tell you, man. Like you said, man, these rivalries run deep, man. I was like, it's nothing like it. Like,
Yeah,
but,
rivalries are great, man.
Right.
If you could find fans of the team,
that is true. Now, that's one thing where I would that would be very difficult to do.
I feel like when people ask like who is your biggest rival, I don't even say Seattle or the Rams or anybody. I say Dallas. Dallas is our biggest rival. We hate them more than anybody, and they hate us too.
Yeah,
they might hate us as much as they hate y'all.
Maybe
much more.
Yeah, it's no love lost at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all good. So, to wrap up the preview, we're gonna do our record predictions. So, Bucks, who you got? Your predictions for the NFC West?
So I'm taking the 49ers to win the division. I'm going to say 13 wins. I'm going to go 13 wins this season. I'm going to have Seattle finishing second. I'm going to give them 11 wins. I think they'll have a pretty good season. I got the Rams in third, and I'm going to take 8 wins for them. So I actually have them finishing third, and then the Cardinals I'm going to have fourth, and I'm going to give them 3 wins. I'm not even confident in giving them 3 wins, but I'm going to give them 3 wins.
Colt McCoy's going to double that themselves. Shout out to Colt McCoy. But, yeah, I got the 49ers. I don't know, for some reason, San Francisco, either they have somewhat of a slow start and then get and ratchet it up. I think it's going to be similar. I think they're going to be 11-6. I got the Rams in second place at 8-9. And I got the Seahawks at 8-9. And I have the Arizona Cardinals at 6-11. So, Colt McCoy, I got a little faith in you. I double your win total compared to Bucks. So Bucks 3-14. Like you said, they will get Caleb Williams if they're 3-14 for sure.
So I'm assuming that you are giving them at least 1 win over both Seattle and the Rams to accommodate for some of these extra wins.
Potentially, because I know week 1 they getting dusted out the flow. They coming to Washington getting the L straight up. So
yeah. My only concern about when we play the Cardinals is that again that we lose focus. That's the only concern I have about that game.
Yeah, that is true. And Sean, if I saw a Cardinals fan talking to a Jazz, Coyotes, and A's fan, I think we're aliens out here. For sure.
They'd be scrolls.
For sure. I would be scared. I would board the windows, get all the water, get a generator, and just ride this thing on out until the apocalypse. Yeah,
it's just weird how like some fan bases you just can't find fans outside of the area.
Right. It's bizarre. Like,
And in the case of the Rams, I was just in LA. You can't even find Rams fans there. I didn't see a single Rams jersey the whole time I was in LA. I was there for like a week.
Yeah. They probably still in St. Louis for real. I mean,
I don't know where they at, but
I'm sorry. I know I've insulted Missouri, but I'm so sorry. But it's the truth, though. And LA kind of fickle because that's like how the Chargers are. Like nobody, right? Yeah. It's just casuals.
Yeah, I mean, in LA, it's pretty much the Lakers, and that's it. Like if you're not the Lakers, then nobody cares about you.
Yeah,
unless you're winning, and then even then, they still kind of really don't still care about you. But
right. Look at the Clippers. Like they've been somewhat successful, and nobody shows up. It's like it's only like 1,500 people in Frankie Muniz.
Yeah.
Shout out to Malcolm in the Middle.
Although I will say, they do seem to love their Kings. They do love their Kings there.
Yeah, and the Dodgers.
In the Dodgers,
to that point. And the Dodgers. Yep, for sure.
But outside of that, yeah, they don't care about you. So it's definitely not a football town.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll put a bow on the NFC West preview. So, Box, tell them where they can find you on social media. Plug all your sports content and also your non-sports content, because non is definitely we need to hear that as well.
Yeah, so for sports stuff, super easy to find me. You can find us on YouTube at Real Play Callers. So that's our show. We do Friday nights live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also find us on 99.1 in Atlanta. Or if you just Google that, you can also find their tuned in radio station as well. So we are there 10 a.m. on Fridays now. So those are the two places to come hear us talk sports. My co-host, Cool McCain, who's also been on the show a couple times, and we'll be on that NFC East preview, I'm sure. So come check us out. And, guys, if you are looking for someone to help you improve your health, create some good habits, relationships, stress management, sleep, all that stuff, holla at your boy at Unshakable Habits.
Absolutely. And I definitely need to tap into that with you, man. That for sure.
Hey man, but, I do free consults, man. All you gotta do, unshakablehabits.com. Go in, set up a free call. Happy to do it with anybody, man.
For sure. Yeah, shout out to Maui. I mean, they've been good compared to what they've been in the past. Like, the Clippers have been god awful, like in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit better.
To be fair, you did say moderately. You didn't really say you were laces, so you did say moderately, and we are definitely comparing it to what they were before, when they were like the laughing stock of the league. So
yeah, terrible.
They still trash. Yeah. They still toilet paper soft. Don't get it twisted, but
right. Hey, shout out to T. I definitely appreciate that. Thanks, appreciate you tuning in
for sure,
and also appreciate you tuning in. And man, thanks everybody. Definitely T.I., Maui, everybody who commented, who check this, checking out the NFC West preview. Definitely appreciate it. 1 of 7 more to go in this series. Definitely check out the podcast anyway. Get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube as well, couchcoachlive.com. We'll be back in less than 48 hours where we'll be talking about the AFC West. So that'll be the Las Vegas Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs, the LA Chargers, and that's it. Yeah, so the Chargers. Then who did I miss? I cannot believe I have a brain fart like this.
The Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos, yes. Let's ride. So yeah, once again, appreciate you, Box, for coming on tonight, previewing the West. We'll see you guys on Tuesday as we continue our NFC West preview. And shout out to JB. JB, definitely check this back out. We talked about the story with the Buffalo Wild Wings with our Arizona Cardinals jerseys, and we got cursed out at the bar. So definitely check that out. So we'll be back on Thursday to continue our 10th annual Couch Coach Live NFL preview, and we're out.